What's up? Tera Roberts here with Fantasy Pros. We are doing a quick 15-minute live Q&A. I'm answering your start-sit questions right up until kickoff. And of course, if there are too many and I'm not able to answer your questions, be sure to take a look at our start-sit assistant to set your lineups at fantasyfootball.com/myplaybook. All right, I'm going to go ahead and dive in because, again, we've got 15 minutes and we have a ton to talk about here. Let's see here. Ryan, start Purdy or wait a week and stick with Caleb Williams. Yeah, stick with Caleb Williams on this one for sure, guys. He's been fantastic. So we'll go ahead and stick with that. Give Purdy the week off there. Just got offered Ibuka for Nico and Jalen Warren. Should I take it? Yeah, I think that's very, very fair trade there. Packers or Patriots defense. Go ahead and go with the Patriots defense tonight. Justin Fields obviously not throwing a ton of volume there, unfortunately. Lots of Brock Purdy questions. Purdy or Love, and then Henderson or Derrick Henry in PPR. Love over Purdy. Love over Purdy. Bounce back week, better matchup here against the Giants. And then Henderson over Derrick Henry. Bad matchup there, unfortunately, for Derrick Henry. Start Hall in flex or go with Goddard, DJ Moore, or Watson. And then with your wide receivers, you have Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, and then running backs, you have Achane, Jalen Warren, and McBride at Tennessee. Yeah, we're still going to go with Hall here in flex. Again, go ahead and go with Hall here on that one. Pass volume, whatever it is from Justin Fields, it's all going, unfortunately, to Breece Hall there. So benefit for you, bad for the Jets, unfortunately, that they don't have any, high-end starting wide receiver there. But Hall should be safe. He's been succeeding on the ground, good volume there. So we're still leaning towards Hall there. And of course, obviously the upside here in terms of the pass volume for him. Would you play Mason Taylor tonight or stick with Hawkinson? I actually just moved Mason Taylor up in my rankings on that one. Again, last time we saw him succeed, it's been a while, but last time we saw him succeed was the game where Garrett Wilson was out there. So Mason Taylor is my preference there. TJ Hawkinson is hit or miss. It's either going to be, touchdown and get you 10 fantasy points or 0 fantasy points. From Nate Deasy. Lamar or Drake May. I have Drake May higher, one spot. They're still both fantastic, obviously, but Drake May let's go ahead and start Drake May there. Devontae Smith or Ricky Pearsall. Well, let's give Ricky 1 week. We're still burned by the 0 fantasy points and Kittle's return there. So go ahead and go with Devontae Smith there. Would you start Travion Henderson over Jalen Warren? Jalen Warren, Ashton Genty, Rico Dowdle, or Javonte Williams in PPR. The only one that I have him over in rankings is Javonte Williams right now, but the other guys are all steady top 10 options this week and good matchups there. You can make an argument for Jalen Warren. You could, but he's in a great matchup there. Chimkin Patty, what's up? Travion Henderson or Chase Brown? Got Travion higher. Sean Tucker or Vidal this week. We're still going Vidal there. PPR, yeah. Dak or Drake May. We're going Drake May. I know starting the Thursday night guy feels a little bit uncomfortable here. The Jets defense is down. I know we're burned and feeling the remorse of last week and Bo Nix's awful production on Thursday night, but in Drake May we trust here. Dak, Caleb, or Purdy this week. I have Dak highest in that one. It's tough to go away from Caleb given the matchup and how fantastic he's been. Top 10 performances back-to-back here. But we do got to lean towards Dak there. Good matchup here. Good weapons. I'm excited to see what this defense looks like too with all these new guys on defense there. Travion Henderson over Jalen Moore. Oh, yeah, we just did that one. Over Javonte Williams, I can get on board with. Breece Hall over Warren. I still have Warren over Breece Hall. Again, on that one, it's matchup. Jalen Warren had over 100 yards in the first matchup against Pittsburgh, or first matchup against Cincinnati. So we'll lean towards Jalen Warren on that one. That is an urgent start sit there. Mason Taylor or Loveland. I lean towards, man, that one is a tough one. I lean towards going with Loveland on that one because it is a good matchup there. My heart wants to go with Mason Taylor on this one because of the potential pass volume there, but it is still entirely possible that it's another sub 50-yard performance from Justin Fields there. So it's probably safer at least because we've got a good usage from Loveland over the past couple of weeks, even with the return of Cole Kmet there. So go with Loveland as the less risky option there. Well, no, why won't that one show? Oh, no, it is. Kayshon Boutte, rest of season, low end flex option. There's always the possibility that, Mac Hollins and Kyle Williams perform very well in his absence, and it just kind of spreads the ball around a little bit there and thins out that, touchdown equity that he had earlier. So he's still a solid flex option rest of season, but he potentially bumped down just like a tiny bit there. Start May or Hurts this week. I would go with May over Hurts. Hunter Henry or Loveland this week. I'm not the biggest fan of Hunter Henry this week, but I would still go with him over Loveland just because, again, starting role there and matchup is good here. But overall, I got problems with Henry, but at least we know there's the potential for him to get a certain level of volume there. Henry or Hall? I got to go with Breece Hall on this one. I know the Thursday night makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable there, but Breece Hall, again, we talked about it, volume, matchup, again, is not ideal, but he's been succeeding regardless of bad matchups there. And passing upside, Derrick Henry had 2 fantasy points in the first matchup against Cleveland. So, yeah, we got to pivot away from that one. And then Breece over Rashad. For sure on that one. Rashad's been so disappointing. Breece, lots of Breece Hall questions on a Thursday night. I love it. Breece or Vidal? Breece over Vidal. My goodness, we're saying Breece's name 5,000 times. He better pull through for us. Good one here. Ertz or Henry? I would prefer to go with Ertz here. Again, Henry has been so underwhelming. In terms of his production, he hasn't cracked the top 10 in like 2 months, unfortunately there. At least with Zach Ertz, we've got a solid floor, so I would stick with Ertz there. Rashad White or Stephon Diggs? I would go with Stephon Diggs there. Thoughts on Mac Hollins as a flex option this week? Not bad. I mean, I'd be curious who else it was, but again, he's been getting good volume. We like the matchup here. Jets defense obviously depleted, so I think he's a valid low-end flex option. I've got him ranked, I believe, in the top 40 this week at the position. Breece Hall or DK Metcalf? Still going Breece Hall on that one. Man, okay, it's like the Breece Hall show tonight. We're still going Breece Hall on that one. DK Metcalf, excellent matchup, although we did see this one before a few weeks ago, and DK had a bad day. That was the game where all the Pittsburgh tight ends went off and Pat Freiermuth had the most ridiculous day ever. I do have more faith that DK is going to get some volume here, some decent volume, but Breece is just the safer option there. By the way, guys, if you were enjoying this stream and content in general with Fantasy Pros, make sure that you give us a subscribe and a like as well for this live. Just helps us out, helps us bring more content to you guys, and absolutely appreciate your support here. All right, let's go back to the questions here. Drake or Hurts? Drake May this week. Drake May is my overall QB1. I think that's very close to consensus as well here. He's been so solid. We love this matchup here. And we're going with Drake May, top 5 option this week. Hunter Henry or Mac Hollins? I would go ahead and go with Mac Hollins. Ooh, good one here. Diggs or Pickens? I lean towards Pickens over Diggs. Again, matchup for both is good, but Pickens probably a little bit of the safer option here, especially coming off the bye week. Rashad White or Stephon Diggs? I would go with Diggs. Hunter Henry Derrick Henry or Breece Hall on that one. We're going with Hall. Ooh, Hunter Henry or Harold Fannin Jr. Safer option in my opinion is Harold Fannin Jr. You might have the higher ceiling with Hunter Henry, so it depends on if you need the higher ceiling play. Given the matchup, Hunter Henry does have the higher ceiling in this matchup here, but the safer floor is definitely with Fannin here. So if you need the safe play, go with Fannin. If you need the ceiling play, go with Hunter Henry there. And yes, we're playing Diggs here. He's a top 24 receiver. I've got him in my top 24, top 20 for me. I know that he's top 24 in Fantasy Pros consensus as well. So we feel good about Stephon Diggs, the volume that he's had recently, and the Kayshon Boutte obviously being out. So that should continue here. Let's see, get some new questions here. Ooh, they are coming in hot. Okay. Harvey or Jennings. And if I miss your question again, reminder, guys, always go to the Start Sit assistant with Fantasy Pros. You can find it at fantasypros.com/myplaybook. All right. Harvey or Jennings. I do lean Harvey. We're getting Ricky Pearsall back this week. Not an ideal matchup for Harvey, but still a top 24 option this week. Travion Henderson or Aaron Jones. Travion Henderson over Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, it's closer than you would think because Aaron Jones has been very solid, but we're going Travion Henderson there. Henderson or Kyron. Henderson slightly over Kyron, just a smidge in PPR. In PPR, that is the key there. Would you start Drake May or Flacco? I would go ahead and start Drake May. I know Thursday night is very stressful for you guys, especially after, Bo Nix last week, but Drake May is a different beast, right? Henry, Vidal, or Hall. Hall on that one for sure. Diggs or Pickens. We go with Pickens on that one. Lots of questions for tonight, guys. Start Diggs tonight, Hall, May, Mason Taylor. Yeah, Mason Taylor, all of those are must starts with the exception of Mason Taylor, who is more of a low-end streaming option this week. Still viable, right? T. Higgins or Travion Henderson at flex. Oh, man. Safer play is going to be Henderson, but the higher ceiling there is still going to go to T. Higgins given the matchup against Pittsburgh. So safer play for you, Henderson, but if you need that high upside swing, go with T. Higgins. Brees or ETN. I have ETN Brees higher on that one. Brees higher on that one. Travion or Aaron Jones. Travion on that one. Genty, Dowdle, Henderson, pick two. Man, I lean towards I have Genty and Dowdle higher on that one. It hurts to sit Henderson there. Maybe if you want to just be careful with the fact that Dowdle is questionable. I think he's going to play, but just in case his injury that he's playing through turns for the worse there, maybe you go ahead and play Henderson tonight and then lean towards Genty. Just for a safer option in case something goes wrong. Start Hunter or Hollins tonight. I would go with Mac Hollins, Parker Washington, or Cortland Sutton, PPR. In PPR, I wish we knew BTJ's status. It does seem like he's close to returning there. It makes me lean towards Cortland Sutton by a smidge there. Fields or Gino in my Superflex. And anyone else? Anyone else? Tyler Algier, Khalil Shakir, and Wandale. Wandale is very tempting there. I probably would still lean towards going with Gino. Fields is a risk to not make it through the game, right? So I moved him back in rankings for that reason. We did that one right there. Diggs or Jennings. I have Diggs over Jennings. Devontae or Ladd. Go with Ladd. Pollard, Spears, or Chubb. I feel like Chubb's out of the way there. I lean towards the higher upside in PPR with Spears. Theo Johnson or over Mark Andrews. Yes, go with Theo. Love him. Love him with Jameis Winston this week. Rice, London, Ibuka. Lean toward. Oh man, it's tough. You still got to go with London. Love them all, obviously, but you still got to lean towards London. Ertz or Freiermuth can pick up Henry. I'd stick it out with Ertz. Safest option there for sure. Harvey or Jennings. I lean Harvey over Jennings on that one for sure. Oh, Hunter Henry or tonight or Theo is a wild Jameis. Yeah, we want Theo with Jameis. Volume there. Should be good. Scroll down, get some fresher questions here before we close things out because we are super close. I think I saw one. Oh, we haven't gotten this one. Quentin Johnston or Ricky Pearsall. Go with Quentin. Give it a week on Ricky, given the fact we got 0 from Kittle in his return. Vidal or Brown. Go with Chase Brown on that one. Parker, Washington, or Sutton. Yeah, Sutton on that one. Start Tet or Roma Dunze. I would go with the Dunze over Tet there. No, we did that one. Henry or Loveland. Again, on that one, I lean towards the higher ceiling is Henry. Safer floor there is Loveland. Marks or Chase Brown this week. Go with Chase Brown. Chase Brown, good matchup, safer option there. Diggs or Hall. We haven't gotten that one yet. I still lean towards Hall on that one. As long as it's full PPR, I do think that will help out Hall as well. potentially wide receiver 1 there. Can I start T-Mac? I've moved him back towards the lower end, back end of top 30 there. Not super trustworthy. And then one more here, Drake May or Josh. Well, let's do one that, unfortunately, because it's, Diggs, Sutton, Monty, pick, or QJ pick 2 would be Sutton and Diggs on that one. All right, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. That wraps things up. Thank you for hanging out. We're going to be doing this 15-minute quick thing before Thursday night. So again, make sure that you are following Fantasy Pros, subscribed. And again, if you have any other start sit questions, you can always go to the start sit assistant at FantasyPros/myplaybook to get any of your start sit questions solidified right there. And again, after the Thursday night football game wraps tonight, the Fantasy Dude will be live with you on Twitch, taking more of your questions here. So we'll see you guys on Twitch after the game here. So enjoy the game. Good luck. Hope you all have a fantastic start to your fantasy week. Tera Roberts, I'll talk to you guys later.